So currently in the UK, there is a bill going into Parliament, both the UK and the Scottish Parliament, regarding assisted dying. That people should have the legal right, if they are terminally ill, of a certain period to go, that they can request medical assistance in dying. And there's a lot of debate about this, as you might expect. It often centres around the moral rightness or wrongness of killing another person, but there's a lot of assumptions at play, a lot of assumptions concerning our modern liberal world that are never questioned in this debate, and I think they are worthy of question because prior cultures wouldn't have thought in these ways. One of them is to do with suffering. We are in a suffering-averse culture. And by that, obviously, I don't mean that people in the past didn't try to avoid suffering. I mean that they had worldviews which incorporated suffering into them. They saw that the growth of virtue, the one who seeks to be heroic, must go through a path of suffering if they are to attain something higher than themselves. Otherwise, they remain in a childlike state. And this is a different kind of thing, right? What these people that we're talking about who want assisted dying or suffering isn't necessarily going to help them gain virtue. But there's a kind of implicit assumption in our society that all suffering is evil, all suffering is bad, and thus it should be eliminated. And so that's where the creep, the slippery slope of this will come from. But the second is the value of autonomy. Since, I would argue, the 1960s, we have had a real emphasis in our culture on the freedom to choose of the individual, that they shouldn't be restrained or oppressed in any consideration when it comes to their desires, providing they're not harming somebody else. But this is a questionable value, not least because it prioritises the individual and their consumption of material goods above the common good of a society or people. That it is necessarily a disruptive and self-centred approach to life, rather than valuing family, community, and so on. And so when we're talking about whether somebody has the right to do this, we have to question on what basis are we grounding rights and autonomy? Is this the primary principle, or is the common good more important?